Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullarabindaya Tapatra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purna Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipa. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Dhanamulam Gurur Murti Puja Mulam Gurur Padam Mantramulam Gurur Vaksham Mokshamulam Guru Kripa. Om Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Sadhguru Bhagavan ki jai, Satchidananda Bhagavan ki jai. Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. Gita Mata ki jai. Hari Om. We are in Srimad Bhagavat Gita and 5th chapter. Yesterday we were discussing the 20th and 21st slokas. 20th is Na prahisyet prapyam priyam prapya no udvijayet na udvijayet prapya cha apriyam sthira buddhi asammudho brahmavet brahmani sthitaha. That we discussed yesterday. Just for recap, resting in Brahman with a steady intellect, steadiness, we have discussed it in many ways. That is called the absolute truth. With a steady intellect and undeluded. Deluded means also fleeting, not steady. The knower of Brahman neither rejoices on obtaining what is pleasant, nor grieves on obtaining what is unpleasant. Pleasant, unpleasant, or desired, undesired, in any way we can see it. Then 21st sloka says, Bahyas parsesu asaktatma bindati yat atmani sukham bindati atmani yat sukham sa brahma yoga yuktatma Sukham aksham asnute. So in this, again and again, the state of highest yogi and a jnani, all the indications of it, Lord Krishna is emphasizingly stressing upon that what happens to a person who attains absolute knowledge. How he behaves. In the very beginning, in second chapter, Arjuna also wanted to know, and till now, directly or indirectly, that is our goal of life, how a realized soul act and how he should feel within and how he should act without outside. That is what we are discussing directly or indirectly all the time. So that is our goal and that is our process of life also and everything. So here also he is tracing up the same point. Bahya sparsesu asaktatma. Spars means contact. Whatever is contacted outside. When the self is unattached to it, who touches the self outwardly? Does anything come and enter into you to touch the self? What does it mean? We have seen beforehand. Matra sparsastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkadaha. Matra means the units, the measuring units. And measuring units of what and what they are. Matra means the units. Units of these senses, we call it tanmatra. The subtlemost part out of which we can understand is the gross form. So that is called measuring or understanding. For example, the eyes touch the forms by the internal measuring rods, smallest measuring rod or unit, that is the form. And ears, the sound. In this way, five senses have different five units which magnifies outside. When it goes out through the particular ways, if the form, subtle form of form goes out through the eyes, then it has to contact the form. It will see the form. That is what we use in common language. The eyes are able to see the form. And the helping hand is light. Without light, the eyes cannot see the form. In this way, the form touches the object and perceives the form. That is called matra sparsa. Matra sparsa means the contact of the smallest unit with the respective grosser form of it. That's how we contact the object, means perceive the object. That also means we get some outward information of the object from its form. Form only is not the all knowledge about the object. Knowing the form, you don't know everything of the object. It has also other qualities, and it has got its nature also. So by contacting the form, you don't get all the information of the object. So in this way, it is called just a touch or contact which doesn't give you the full information, complete information. So in this way, the senses perceive the objects. And this is how out of it we get the experience of opposites, pairs of opposites, either good or bad, either heat or cold, or pleasant or unpleasant. All these pairs of opposites are measured by the senses when they contact the respective objects through the senses. This is how he says, Bahya sparsesu asaktatma, one who is not attached to this contact of senses outwardly with the objects or the names. The whole world is nothing but names and forms, outwardly. Inwardly it has got so many meanings and so many aspects, but outwardly names and forms. And that is perceived or received by the senses by outward contact with the object. Then only we know something about it. And that is haphazard, incomplete, and it results in twofold meaning, twofold experiences, that is pairs of opposites, either cold or heat, either pleasant or unpleasant, either this or that, something twofold. In this way, the real knower of the self, who is ever enjoying the bliss of the self, he doesn't care for the senses who contact the outside objects and produce twofold experiences. The one who is ever engaged, ever steady in the innermost self, he never cares for the outward contacts. This is what he means here. Bahya sparsesu asaktatma. He is not at all concerned with it and not attached to it. Let the sense go anywhere and do anything. When the child has gone to school, how do the parents think? He has gone to the school. Now our worries are gone to the headmaster or the teachers, class teachers. We are not concerned. He has gone out. This is how, when the senses have gone out, let them do whatever they like. I don't care. Bahya sparsesu asaktatma bindati atmanija sukham. Whatever bliss he enjoys and knows within, in the self, within the heart, within the body, being established in the self, that sa Brahma Yoga Yuktatma, Brahma, sa Brahma Yoga Yuktatma Sukham Akshayam Asnute. by the outward contact of the senses with the sense objects, we get some kind of pleasure, no doubt in it, but it is momentary and subject to change. If we get some pleasure, the next moment it ends in pain. But whatever bliss he enjoys within, that is undisturbed and that is constant and eternal, akshayam, unperishable, never destructible. It is continuous and eternal bliss or eternal happiness. And who enjoys this? Brahma, Yoga Yuktatma, Sa Brahma, within who indwells in the innermost chamber of the heart, that is called Brahman, and one who is fully bloomed yogi, he enjoys that Brahma. He gets established on it and he never cares for the outward contact of the senses with the sense objects. And as a result, he enjoys the eternal bliss within, but not without. So you can have some doubts on it also. Let us see the exact literal meanings. With the self unattached to external contacts, he finds happiness in the self. When he is unattached to the outer contact, so he is ever contacted, ever touched with the self. That is, in other words, we call it extrovertness and introvertness. And that is, in still other terms, we can say kurmangani kurmana, what is that? As the tortoise withdraws its outer limbs within and gets safety. Nothing can disturb it. Kurmangani va sarvasaha. So what happens? When he is not concerned with the outer contacts, he is self-satisfied. He finds happiness in the self itself, with the self with the self. Engaged in the meditation of Brahman, he attains to the endless happiness, that is eternal bliss. When the mind is not attached to external objects of the senses, when one is deeply engaged in the contemplation of Brahman, he finds undecaying bliss, which is not destructible. Undecaying bliss in the self, within. If you want to enjoy the imperishable happiness of the self within, you will have to withdraw the senses from their respective objects up and plunge yourself in deep meditation on the self within. This is the gist of this verse. That is what we were telling now, withdrawing the senses from outside, getting enjoyment within, just like the tortoise. What doubts you can have? Pardon?
What type of enjoyment it can be? Because we know only the enjoyment of the senses and the outer perception.
What type of enjoyment? Yes, of course, from the contact of senses outwardly we get some enjoyments, that is happiness or unhappiness. Unhappiness also we enjoy, isn't it? Bhog matlab sukh and dukh, both. Both. But inwardly it is not, neither it is happiness nor unhappiness. So that steadiness, which is constancy, 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 unbroken, uninterrupted happiness, that is called bliss, and that is possible within only, not without, not outside.
This is only for realized soul, Guruji?
No, it is for you also. What is your condition? What is your state? Tell me. Whether you are outside or inside.
एक जैसे आप कह रहे हो तो जरूर भाई किसी भी बाहर का कांटेक्ट छोड़ना, तो हम जैसे अब भगवान के नाम रूप या इन उसमें अगर लगे रहते हैं तो हमारा ध्यान हटता है, तो वो ठीक है या नहीं? क्योंकि भाई हम अपने गृहस्थी में हैं, अब ऐसे तो जितना इंडल्ज रहते हैं कुछ ना कुछ हो जाता है।
जी। आप दिल्ली से यहाँ आए कैसे? हाउ डिड यू कम फ्रॉम दिल्ली टू उत्तरकाशी?
बस से।
भाई
मतलब आए क्यों?
नहीं, हाउ?
बस से आए।
आपका टेम्पो ट्रेवलर है, मैं बस में कहाँ आए?
वही मतलब टेम्पो ट्रेवलर।
हाँ, नाउ वेयर इट इज? Have you brought it to your room and bathroom?
ना।
What have you done with it?
वहीं छोड़नी पड़ी।
अच्छा, out of the gate. Get out.
मतलब हमारा जब लक्ष्य आ गया तो उसको छोड़ना तो पड़ता है।
छोड़ना तो पड़ता है। ऐसा ही go on practicing it. When you reach the goal, kick it.
नहीं, पर ये प्रैक्टिसिंग
Use and throw. Use and throw. What do you do with those glasses and spoons and plates after eating? Temporary.
Lakshya is the limit.
Limit. It has got some purpose by the way, and when the purpose is fulfilled, throw it. Use and throw. All these japa and all your practice, they are not useless. You have to use it. And when it is used, served the purpose, then throw it. Kantake naiva kantakam. When there is a thorn prick to your leg, what do? You bring another thorn to remove it. And after removing the previous thorn, what do you do with both the thorns? Do you keep it in pocket for toothpick? Or you preserve it in the fridge? Similarly, all these practices, they are useful for some time, for somebody in particular time and conditions, they are useful. Yes. And when it becomes continuous japa, incessant japa prayer, that is not only in your religion, in all the religion, it is stated in different ways, different terms, different languages. That continuous effort is of paramount importance. continuity is important.
निरंतरता तो
Yes. Do japa, do dhyana, or do anything you like. Can you do japa and you worship also your kanha and you do arti. Go on doing arti continuously. What is the meaning of arti? To remember this self-effulgent eternal light. That is the meaning of it. Natasya Surya Surya Bhati na Chandra Tarakam Nema Vidyato Bhanti Kuto Yamagni Tameva Bhantam Manubhati Sarvam Tasya Bhasa Sarvam Idam Vibhati. To remember that continuous effulgence, ever illumined, continuous, ever existing, that effulgence, we have to remember it continuously. So whenever we have some chances, we take the little fire or the lamp and we waver on the so-called our personal identities or our personal deities, whomsoever we think the representative of that, any form, any name, any way, we show the light to that absolute God in the form of our accepted deity, in a form or a name. To remember that continuously we cannot continue it. So as much as we can, that is the meaning and purpose of arati. And at that time we sing some songs, and those sounds, that is glorifying the Absolute in any way you can, to purify your speech, your mind, and glorify the Absolute which is beyond all the glories. So somehow to remember Him, by speech, by thoughts, or by actions, or by some indications, somehow or other.
स्वामी जी आसक्ति को ही तो टर्न करना है ना इधर, आसक्ति को बाहर से अंदर ही तो करना है,
क्या
वही करना है। आसक्ति हमारी बाहर ही है ना, तो उसी को इन्वर्ट हो।
हाँ, वो इन्वर्ट हो गया, और when it becomes constant, it is not called asakti, not attachment, but it is oneness. That continuous attachment is known as not no attachment, but it is union. Same attachment. If it is continued in anything, in any object, whether outward or inward, never mind, it has got no meaning. But outward, why it is forbidden outward contacts? Because it is always broken and it is always interrupted by the change of the objects, change of the senses, and change of the mind. So everything is changing. So it is not continuous. It cannot be continuous. But if a yogi can continue it on any object, क्या बोला सरस्वती उपनिषद? नामे रूपे पृथक कृत्वा. Throwing the name and form, whether it is aside, whether it is outside or inside. Inside also there are so many names and forms, isn't it? And the innermost is without any name, without any form. Whether it is outside or inside, never mind. You have to give up the idea of names and forms. So if you can do it outside, no objection. And you do the same thing inside also. I will tell you the story of Dhruva. Everybody knows, but some particular points we have to see. When after long, instant and constant and intense love or demand or desire, whatever you may say it, Dhruva wanted to see Lord only with one desire. I want to see a seat on the lap of my father. And when he was moored in intense tapasya, he forgot everything. That is the result of penance. Mind gets one-pointed. And he forgot the world, forgot the desires, and he realized the form of Lord Vishnu within the heart. He was merged in it and he was enjoying the bliss. He forgot everything. And it happened because of the guidance of celestial monk Narad. He helped the innocent boy searching for God, catching and embracing anybody he sees in the jungle. The serpents, the bears, the tigers, the trees, the birds, whomsoever he sees, are you Narayan? Because mother said, Narayan is there in the jungle. Whatever he saw in the jungle, he was thinking he must be Narayan. So he was asking every name and form. Just as being bewildered by the separation of Sita, Rama was asking even the trees and the wind, the murmuring of wind and the birds and animals, have you seen my dear darling Sita? Where has she gone? Because one-pointed mind. So, Dhruva also had one-pointed mind. I want to see Narayan. This was simplicity and this was one-pointedness also. और बच्चों का हट, the stubbornness of children, whatever comes to their mind, they will do it, caring for nothing. That is what Dhruva did. And he was merged in the form of, blissful form of Narayan, luminous form. And then Lord Vishnu appeared outside. Why not inside? Inside he was present all the time. And now Dhruva was visualizing, he was enjoying the bliss. But Lord Vishnu appeared in the same form outside. Why? What need was there? To remove the idea of inside and outside, to annihilate the...
Both, internal and external.
Yes, there is no in and out, and by in and out feeling, we have the feeling of the body. Because of the body, we...
How can it be separated?
No. As long as the feeling of the body is there, there is the feeling of inside and outside. Now, are you seeing me outside you or inside?
Outside.
So simple. This is what happens in the relative day-to-day life, we see everything outside. And the memories are brought from outside and kept preserved inside, and then only we have the memories of outside world inside. Not the forms exactly, not the names exactly, only the memories or impressions. This is how, because of body only, we have the sense of outside and inside. That should be removed totally. There is no inside or outside. When you feel oneness, when you forget the limitation, the limiting, demarcating lines form the body, which gives you the sense of inside and outside. Now, are you outside the building or inside?
Inside.
How do you know it? Because of the wall only. When you remove the wall, what happens? Where are you? Inside or outside? Because of the wall, demarcating line, you feel and you understand what is inside or outside. That is the body. That is how we say be introvert means withdraw your mind and senses from outside and center it. Inside means there are so many things inside. That is not the meaning. In the innermost chamber, which is inner than the innermost, that is called inside. That is called the core of the heart. Anuraniyan, smaller than the smallest. There cannot be anything smaller than that. And that we see, oh, इधर तो कुछ है ही नहीं हमारा मैजिक रॉड्स दूध से नहीं इधर चॉकलेट नहीं कागज कोन लाओ इधर ही हो गया लाओ हो गया भाई दो मैं बनाता सांझ हो गया This is the end of, the smallest end of it is known as smaller than the smallest. How slowly the greater becomes smaller, and the end of it becomes the point, the central point. It becomes the inner, smaller than the smallest. And how long you can go on widening it? It can contain the whole universe within it. When you go on expanding it, is it not? So that will be the greater than the greatest. In this way, the world exists and the truth also exists. Truth also exists in the way, so the Vedas say, Anuraniyan, Mahato Mayan. And in the same way, it's a shadow or a reflection which is called the world or the Maya. Same way. The secret of Maya nobody knows, and its actions nobody knows. Endless. So in this way you have to understand the innermost means the absolute truth. But we are hanging in between. That's why we are not able to reach any end. Either that side or this side. We are outside means limited outside. If the whole universe you contact, it is welcome. How much you contact with your senses, that is limited. That limitation is the cause for all of our problems. That it should not be limited in any way or in any direction or by any means. Time-wise, space-wise, condition-wise, it is unconditional. So don't bring it into outer or inner. So this is how it is stated.
Limit is necessary, na?
Pardon?
It is necessary.
Pardon?
Because limit is necessary.
Necessary, of course, in a relative daily life in the world. Not necessary in the absolute truth. It is beyond everything. It is beyond the limits. And because of limit, we can behave with each other.
Oh, unlimited.
Yes.
It cannot be attained.
Yes. Because of the limitations, we are different from each other and we behave with each other. Or else behavior or transactions are impossible. So such a person, he never belongs to this world. That is what we are discussing. He is ever beyond all these limitations and dualistic ideas. As long as two are there, so cause and effect, action and reaction, give and take, everything is there. And this is called world. This is called our daily life, not only ours, everywhere, everything. This is the law of nature. So, this is nature only, world only. And as such, as the reflection of your body is seen in the mirror, is it different from you or from yourself?
Different.
As you think, it is your reflection only. It is not different from you. And in another sense, it is quite different from you. You are not the reflection. So whether that reflection is within you or outside you.
Outside.
Because of this sense of body and mirror, reflected and reflexible and reflection, then only we have differences. That barrier is called divider, or in other term, do you know? It is called Badha, Bighna. And Bighneswar Lord Gajanan, he removes all these. In that way, he gives the Siddhi. Siddhi means the absolute attainment of the goal. He removes all these demarcating lines. They are called interruptions, means whatever you do, if there is interruption, that is called Bighna. Badha. Gajanan does this. That's why he is worshipped in the very beginning itself. Who can remove all your demarcating border lines? You become the universal being. Yes. So in this way, you have to understand what is inside and outside, and how a person enjoys by the contact of the senses with the external objects, that is haphazard, temporary, ever-changing, transitory, But inner, if it reaches the innermost chamber, that is not changeable. That is the absolute constancy. And that is what Dhruva was enjoying, and to remove that sense of demarcations, I am different from the world, to remove that sense, Lord Vishnu, who considered him to be his own self, he appeared before him with a form to remove that barrier. And what did he say, you know? He taught his this the Brahmana, this Talu. Thereby he opens his the knowledge, and Dhruva opens his eyes. Lord Vishnu is standing outside. Then he made him understand, my dear Dhruva, I am inside and outside both. Both are same. There is no inside and outside. Now, Dhruva realized it. The same was within, the same is without. There is no difference. Then only he could get that the eternal abode of eternal constancy, never moving. And what is that? That is what Lord Vishnu gave him in blessing. You were desirous to have a seat. I will make you sit constantly, eternally, unmovingly. And thereby he realized the whole world is one only. That is the knowledge. Through the devotion, through the one-pointed mind, he achieved it. And the world was a dream for him. That is the state of the realized souls. And that's how the sense of, the meaning of outward and inward gets deleted forever. There is no sense idea, body idea. This body idea is the root cause of all our attachment, bondage, desires, and this and that, relationships and limitations, everything. When this is deleted completely, nobody idea. So, what is your state? Neither in nor out. You are all pervading truth. This is the essence of all the scriptures. And practice you can do any way you like, whatever is suitable to you. And I was trying to tell you one point, whether outside or inside, when the mind is fixed on any one point, your job is done. It should not move. That's all. And thereby you get the knowledge of oneness, not inside or outside, not limiting knowledge. That is unlimited knowledge and annihilation of these ideas inside or outside, or limiting lines, or this or that, or I and my. All these ideas are gone, burnt out into ashes forever and ever. That is the goal of life. Whether it is outside or inside, that it doesn't matter at all. When the names and forms are gone forever, only the inner essence, ras, the essence, remains as the remnants, that is Sat Chit Anand. That is the essence of all the scriptures and all the religions. Somehow or other, we believe one God only, whether God in heaven or He appears at the time of judgment or anywhere, or He is called Nirvana or Kaivalya, whatever you name and however you think of it. In this way he says, a man of such knowledge, a real soul, he is ever established in the self and he never enjoys the sensual objects, means by the contact of the sense with the objects, that is not enjoyable because it is ever changing. So tomorrow we shall see further the 22nd, which will be Ye Hi Sanspara Saja Bhoga Dukha Yonaya Evate Adyantavantah Kaunteya Natesu Ramate Buddha. And the wise men never entertain in all these ever-changing enjoyments. They entertain only the constant state of the joy. That joy should be continuous. That is the cleverness. And fools go to enjoy for 1 minute and afterwards they have to weep. Fools only can choose such enjoyments. The wise never will will choose such enjoyment. The wise people only choose the constant enjoyment. That constancy is the real enjoyment.
Bliss is something else. Bliss is eternal.
Yes, bliss we have named the constant enjoyment, happiness, which never sees the opposite. When we call it happiness, then unhappiness is sure to be opposite of it. Where day is there, night is sure to be there, opposite to it. But when you go to the neutral zone, is there any night or day? That is neither night nor day. What do you call it? Something other than day and night. So that is how, which is beyond happiness and unhappiness. That is we have named, as the scientists name the zone as neutral zone. Space, so also we have named it as bliss. Some name has to be given for our understanding. So tomorrow we shall see the next. Same thing is emphasized and continued in the explanation how the wise people never enjoy the changing phenomena and they enjoy the constant joy, and the fools, they choose this little joy. A child is very happy with 2-3 NPs, naya paisa, because it makes a good sound. Throw it, it will go and catch it. He will not choose the 1,000 rupee, 2,000 rupee note because it is useless for him. He doesn't know the real value of it. 2 pice coins is more attractive for a child than the 2,000 rupee note because it is useless for a child. Similarly, the fools entertain in small things ever, and they think this is everything. Tomorrow we shall see further. Hari Om. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadguru Bhagavan ki jai. Satchidananda Bhagavan ki jai. Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. Gita Mata ki jai. Hare Om.